Hi, I'm Temi Amadou, co-founder of African Investment Club.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jason Jackson. I'm also a co-founder of the African Investment Club.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, man, thank God for Clubhouse. This is another Clubhouse Connect, and I have Temi and Jason from the African Investment Club, and they are going to give us the game on what is being done in this club, what is being said. You guys know from the beginning of Clubhouse, at least when I got on, I was like, we gotta talk Africa, we gotta talk Black. So I thank y'all for coming on. And give us, who wants to start off and tell us how this club came about and what is the purpose?
Okay. So this club actually came about through Jason. He's been like the main person who had all the contacts between 8 of us. So we're a team of 8 individuals. We've come together to invest in Africa. The purpose of it was, starting a conversation and getting us investing in something. But what better way to do than to invest in, invest in Africa where we're all from. So we just started to look into the best way to invest. And we invested in Ghana in the end on an agriculture. So we now have a pineapple farm currently. Jay, do you have anything?
Awesome. And Jason, when you got into Clubhouse, and you said, I got to have this club, was it always to do group projects, or did you just want people to kind of share the different investments that they had or that they wanted to do on the continent?
Right. The actually interesting story there is that Africa Investment Club, AIC, was actually in process before Clubhouse. So it just happened that when Clubhouse kicked in, and a few of us joined. We actually, I think a lot of the team members, we actually joined late November point. So we just thought, okay, great, let's create. We didn't know how Clubhouse would go and what would be the moves around that. So what we just done was, okay, we're just going to create the African Investment Club on that space. And to us, as part of our joining, we know as an investment club of 8 of us that we wanted to create also a space where we will be able to allow other young Africans or those in the diaspora that wants to invest in the motherland to have the right space to be able to have the conversation. Bearing in mind that we're already on our own joining, we also wanted to be able to share our own joining through that process with other people and either learn from other people or people can learn from us. But either way, the club has kind of fitted into part of our long-term agenda at the beginning point when we started. And that was pretty much just before March last year. And that was to say, we are going to be creating an offering for training, networking. And so Clubhouse just kind of just perfectly fitted into that plan. So yeah, but now really the mission has been, we wanted a space for other Africans and diasporans and people with interest in the motherland to have the space to have a conversation and also to bring experts in that can come in and aid other people that might have questions. Because at the end of the day, investing in Africa is not going to be a light work if you're not on ground. And even those on ground, it's just about that shared knowledge and shared experiences to us. Yeah.
Okay. And, this is the perfect time because more and more people, due to flight changes and the prices in the last 15 years, people have been going back to Africa or Africa for the first time. I am from Oakland. My grandmother is from Arkansas, and even she's been, when I was a kid, she went to like Egypt, whatnot, and different countries, and she, just traveled. But now we're seeing even younger and younger people take that journey. How important is it, do you think, to both of you, that we just don't become a bunch of tourists to Africa, but actually planting seeds there and investing and, really giving something that can grow and blossom even for our kids and our kids' kids.
I can jump on this, and I know Temi's definitely got that. To me, you've made a big statement in terms of how do we not look at Africa as just a tourist destination, just to tickle our box of saying, oh, great, being to Africa is, all of that. And to me, investing is definitely one of those. And also looking at Africa in terms of, you have to look at it that you have to be part of changing the narrative. So to me, a visit to any African country or a visit to Africa is, I call it spiritual cleansing. I call it spiritual experience. Because if you look at a thing from a spiritual experience, you also look at it, okay, how do I maintain this feeling that I have? And to us, we already knew that it wasn't just, okay, going for the great return and going there and having the fun and the partying and all of that for a week or two and go back. We knew we had to do something that not only sowing the seed on the ground for a greater return for us as entrepreneurs and as business people, but also making an impact on ground as well. And that means we also know that it's not going to be a process. It's going to be an easy one. It's just not going to be something overnight. So, meaning it's going to be a long process, but either way, for that process to be to come to fruition, we need to be patient with it, and we need to go as a collective. And that's why, for us, going as a group of 8 in investing in Africa meant we were support mechanism for each other, because life happens, but someone will always know there's someone that's got my back. There's an interest, collectively. Sometimes it might just be a word of an encouragement. It could just be, okay, fine. You might not be feeling that great this couple of months or whatever. You might not feel the need to be, but we've got you. So to us, if there was a community feel to it, we knew there was the possibility, and I still believe there is a possibility that we will go longer, and our interest in Africa will be very long term and not just touristy. And just to ice that off, you need to go outside of the capitals when you go to Africa, because that's really where the experience are. And I think with that, you would definitely, it does give that experience that's much bigger than that.
Yeah. So just to kind of back what Jason's saying, just think it's important when you look at Africa, you don't just see, sun and fun. You kind of see, the economy, what you want to do to better yourself as well, to better the economy in Africa, to better the people that live there as well. So if you kind of have the heart and the mind to, kind of do what is best for the people that are actually living there, instead of, tourism does play quite a big part in the economy as well. So we don't discourage that at all. But it'll be nice when investing, you can offer people jobs and stuff, get people hired, and you can kind of help out those who are in need without having to just give money. You know what I mean? So if you're hiring, at least you know that you're helping them long term instead of short term. So if we have kind of those things in the back of our minds when we're kind of looking at Africa as a place to invest, and yeah, I think that's quite important.
I love that, conversation of getting outside of the capital. Chris Rock had a funny joke about Americans, how they go to Jamaica and they get in a van, go through the worst poverty they've ever seen, get to the resort, come back and say, Jamaica's a beautiful place. But it's like, even if you go to London and if you're going to, Seven Park Place to go eat and lay, but if you didn't go to a Chippy, and really experience what that is, I don't think you've been to London after coming from the pub, so it's one thing to just go, but to have that true experience.
Yeah.
And so, with that true experience, you guys are doing something that is extremely difficult, because you're telling people to invest in Africa. You're telling Black people to invest in Africa who may or may not have a connection, even if their parents are from there. And then you're saying, pull your money together, which group economics is one of the hardest things we have seen. Like other communities, they do it. Chinese, Jews, they do this quite well. how did that process go about saying, give us your money and we're going to go in and make something happen? How long did that take? Give us the rundown.
Right. I can go, Temi.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks.
I think the first part of that was shared value and shared vision. I think we did spend a lot of time sort of discussing outside of actually the official us coming together. A lot of the people in the group, we kind of knew each other, and what it was about is there's always been the narrative among the group in different settings that we have to be involved in changing the narrative when it comes to Africa. It was a conscious thing. You could even say political, or you could say it's a campaign, because we knew that a lot of the narrative were controlled by other people. It's almost, how do I put it? If there's a quote, I'm going to paraphrase here. When you allow other people to write your own story, you definitely going to allow other people to set how other people look at you. Because at the end of the day, like you just touched on Chris Rock joke regarding Jamaica, the truth to the matter is that yes, Africa is struggling. Yes, Africa is underperforming. But we also know the reasoning behind that. We also understand the powers that be, the struggles in the past. But at the same time, Africa is also a rising. It's getting, there's amazing things going on there. And if you look at the West, the power they have has been the fact they're able to control the narrative. For example, I don't know how people perceive UK from the US, but I'm pretty sure what you're going to be seeing most of the time about the UK is going to be about the royal family. You're going to see Buckingham Palace. You're going to see the Oxford Streets. You're going to see all of these amazing, beautiful places. But if I was to tell you there are places in London that I would think twice before I even step into it, you wouldn't believe me. A lot of people won't believe that because that's not always going to be out there in the media. The same in America as well. We understand that this is a very common play. So to us, the African Investment Club, we knew there was one thing was important was for us to have a shared vision value about portraying Africa as a place you can invest in. But also the agenda was that we also have to change the narrative when it comes to motherland. So the group already, we had that common ground. So it was easier for us to then say, we're going to put our money to this. We're going to put our money where our mouth is, because we're not just going to say, oh, we want to change Africa. We want to change the narrative. We want to portray a positive image, and we don't put money in it. And also as a group of 8, it was much easier because, like you said, group economics, we were able to research what other communities have been doing in the past. And we know that when it comes to the African community or the African diasporans, we're way behind. We've never really picked on utilizing the fact that, going together is more stronger than going as one or just as an individual. Because, for an example, as a group, we're able to invest in a project and our exposure to risk is smaller. That's definitely one advantage. The other part about it is we're sharing knowledge. As in a group, we've got consultants, we've got people in the finance sector, we've got people in different, even the green sector. The group is very strong, so we're able to tap into that, and able to refine what we're trying to do on ground. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is when you have a shared vision, shared value, it is much easier to then execute the economics of group or the group economics, because you already have your values set. You already have that conversation. So I would say that our group is, in a way, we are very much conscious about the African narrative. So, and I think it would be harder if you were trying to put a group together with people that don't feel the same way about the motherland, or don't understand the struggle of the motherland and don't feel that they should be involved in making that change.
Temi, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No. Jason, well, thank you.
Well, and it goes back to, the African proverb everybody knows: if you want to go far, go together. If you want to go fast, go alone. And so with that, let's talk about these projects. How much money initially was put into certain projects? What has been done? Because this audience loves to hear about money. They love to hear about, wow. I tell them about investments that I have on the continent, and they say 32% on your money. Wow. And they start getting almost greedy. And so you have to, it takes a certain mindset to tell people this isn't 419. This is not, this is no joke. These are real businesses, but they are high risk. So
yeah.
those first projects, or how many projects does the club have going at this time?
So we currently have 2 projects going on at the time. One of which is a stock and shares investment account that we use to kind of, build funds for the team, so for us to reinvest back into our second investment, which is a pineapple farm in Ghana. So we have a pineapple farm. We also have cash crops such as like peppers, okra that we're growing as well in Ghana. And we have 5 acres, but we've started off with using 1 acre just to kind of test and see if everything's going well, which it has been so far. And I guess with funding, it's the case of, we've got that cost split between 8 people. So it's not kind of a heavy cost on each of us. I don't know if you want to chip in, Jason, but it just enables us to kind of share the burden throughout the team. We're currently going into harvest, so we haven't got a strong kind of financials of how much we've made so far, but we've got our predictions and they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, just adding to what Temi just said, I think a lot of the initial cost was sort of around us making sure we get the structures in place, and also we've obviously realized that, okay, with what's going on at the moment, the stock shares was really important for us, because I mean, it could sound like a little bit of a play. We take the money from here and we go back home. It is what it is. But it was also probably less of structure around setting that up. However, when it comes to the farm, that has been a structure a lot more, because we really know that we have to kind of be able to try out certain things to be able to know that it works and it works perfectly, so that we can then scale up to the level we're in. I think the team is ready on a much bigger scale to scale up. But however, we want to do things properly. It's very important for us to make sure what we do is done properly before we even jump into that into the bigger scale up, which at the moment it is looking quite big, but we have to be kind of mindful of how we approach that. And like you said, in terms of the fraud side of things, as a collective of the group at the moment, we don't actually take on any investment from external people outside of the group of 8. And that is because, again, we are not in this for a quick buck. We are in this for a long term. And if it ever comes to a point that we might be able to support other diaspora to be able to invest through our vehicle, our record will speak for itself. And to be honest with you, we'll be very selective around that, because the vision and the mission, and anyone that wants to jump on board when that time comes in the future, would have to be in line with our vision and mission about motherland.
That's very wise, because I've seen so many groups, and I've seen groups break up so quickly because everybody, sometimes everybody wants to be the chief. and they don't want to just, play their role. But then you have folks, and out here in Florida, we're part of venture funds, and in Seattle, we were very blessed to, have angel investors wanting to throw money. And you have those people who want to throw money at you all the time. But as soon as they give you a certain amount of money, they then feel like they own the group, or they can start, taking over. So do you ever worry about, like, Jason, since you're a co-founder, how do you say, okay, I'm going to let Temi play this part because she knows this more than me, and having your ego in check? Or if Temi comes in and says, the money that you need, my bride price was more than that. So I have it, and I can just get it. As someone who founded this, how do you, navigate that? Because you'll have those people who try to come in and just throw money, or they're brilliant and they'll just try to throw ideas and say, but I need to run it. But how does the dynamics of the group work with ego, I guess, is my question.
Oh, I mean, look, I think when it comes to that part, again, it needs to go back to, how do you see yourself? I think we see ourselves as a family. And I think we've identified each other's strength. I think one of the things that we done at the early stages was we done a personality test as a group, which was pretty amazing, because what happens is that with the personality test that we did, we're able to understand each individual, how they think and what that was. And I think immediately from that, what we're able to address, obviously we still have time going, what we're able to address was, we understand how that person is supposed to act. So if you know how they're supposed to act, you need to give the benefit of doubt to that particular individual. But everything has to still needs to fall in a line in terms of where we want to go to, or where we want to get to at the end. So what you do find out is that even sometimes when we might probably disagree in certain instances, we disagree in a positive way, because we understand an idea needs to be refined. So if I'm going, I'll give you an example. A lot of the time, what we do in the group is we play the devil's advocate, as in, I know this is an amazing idea, but you know what? I'm going to try and put holes through this. Why am I doing this? Because we want our talk to be refined. So we already understand that every single person in the group should be able to do such, because if those questions are answered in the group, then definitely we can answer that question outside the group. So the group understand afterwards, we're fine. We're laughing, we're talking, we're family. We understand that. So, and when it comes to who is the boss, who's not the boss, look, when we take over the world, then we can decide how we're going to split the motherland into our own people, right? We work, we make it happen.
Also, just to add on to that, another thing we've done is we've allocated everyone to their strengths. So there's people who's strong on finance, they handle the finance part. People who's strong on the public speaking, they handle that part. Like, we allocate people to their key strengths, and we know everyone's key strengths through kind of listing, like Jason said, the personality test, through going through that and understanding one another, but also through kind of listing the skills and the qualifications we have. So we kind of understand each other very well. We're quite, like Jason said, a family. So it's deeper than just business and making money. It's more a relationship and building family, building connections with each other as well.
I love this. I have to ask, Jason, when you did the personality test, you're married, yes?
Yeah. Yes.
Was that your wife's idea?
Are we going to talk about that part? Because that's a personality test part that I don't think we're ever going to get the result for. I tell you what, no matter what personality test you do, the minute you say I do, you might have to take that every single hour. But hey, and you just need to be ready to evolve along that line. But but definitely. It wasn't actually. It was actually Ian. Ian is one of our consultant. He's amazing. He's really good at what he does. He works on big, massive projects, and I think this is something that he has had to, when he goes to organizations to kind of help them restructure. This was part of what they do. So I think it was very important for him to introduce that to the group. And I think it was really good. It was good to do it. It was revealing for one, because once you do the personality test, it's not just other people knowing who you are. It's also good for you to look at yourself in the mirror and think, you know what? Yeah, there are ways I can also change and adapt, and also understand that my behavior might be seen by the other not to be totally nice, So yeah, it was more also reflective of individuals that were taking it, but then as also a collective, as a group, knowing that even when I have my bad day or when I slip, I will still get the benefit and I'll still get the love from my team and my fam. So yeah.
Well, I love that. And I ask all my guests, and you guys have mentioned it and touched upon it, but you can even go deeper or talk about, another project. But what is a community give back that you guys are doing or that you plan on doing in the future?
Do you want me to take this one? So one thing we're doing is, like I said, we're hiring locals into our farm to work for us. So we're not just kind of looking for anyone. We're kind of trying to keep it localized within those who live within the community, so we can, kind of help build their economy as well. We are looking to kind of empower women going forward as well. We've been putting together schemes on how we can empower more women within the community and get them to get into farming as more, and like kind of get them to work on our farms, so we can kind of build them up in that area. We're looking at, developing them, getting them skills professionally. So sending them to school in the future. We're also interested in building like a foundation as well, where we can, kind of help those who are in need in the local area. So there's just a few. Jason, don't know if you have any to add as well, but that's mainly what we've been looking at.
Yeah, I think that part of the other thing is we've been quite conscious of making sure we are not just like who we are trying to stop, taking advantage of the motherland, and that means we are very conscious of how we want to invest. Meaning, if we're investing, the community needs to benefit from it. And tendency is we've realized that other people, when they do investment in Africa, they don't really care. They just kind of, it's quite destructive in a way. So even in the group, like for example, Marco, part of a group member, he's pretty much our green guy. He's very conscious. Everything we do needs to be he literally will just hold us on it. We have to be very careful and that our investment doesn't destroy things. So, and it's a good thing. Yeah. And even sometimes at the detriment of financial gain, but hey, that's what the difference is about. So we are in a way very conscious about that. We do want to carry the community along. And above all, we do want there are little things that I think plays a part in terms of how we engage with the community. For example, when we visit, we're there, we're part of the community, and we're always thinking about how do we add value to what we do, especially in the farming side of things. So there is that conscious conversation around, rather than doing exactly what everyone's been doing, everything that they grow is being shipped out or minerals are being sucked out. We're thinking, how do we process it in the community? So it provides more job for the community or brings in more funds or investment into the community. So this is things that we're thinking about, that adding value to what we do that will create more wealth and more and more to the community that we're involved in, is pretty much really at the key whenever we're making a decision on investment. And it's going to be so with the others that we have in mind already.
I love that. And to, have the community and make sure you hire local and not those who are trying to colonize. And many people think when I say that, they say, you mean the West or you mean China? But I even mean folks who are coming from the West and using their money, to we all want to, make the money, but not to colonize. And then here we are selling the plantain and the banana, taking words from Akala, one of your guys' hometown heroes. Yeah. Now that's cool. And I'll let you guys finish it. That's old school Akala. But, I love this. I love this. Now, if a group is listening and they're on the continent and they say, hey, consider us for an investment. We have something here, whether it's in tech, agriculture. What is the best way for them to reach out?
Do you mean how they can contact us?
How they can contact you and say, consider us for your next investment.
So we're on all socials. We're on Twitter at Africa_Club. We're on Instagram at Africa Investment Club, as well as Facebook. And our email is africainvestmentclub@gmail.com.
And with that, you guys, we're going to take the conversation offline because Jason said he wanted to have questions for me. But, like a great journalist, it's all about African Investment Club. We'll take what I'm doing, the little piece that I'm doing off air, and we will talk. So you guys make sure you like, share, subscribe, and be blessed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.